Hello everyone and welcome to Mikey's Makerville Projects YouTube channel. This is where we're going to learn how to build our own cool technology projects. Today I'm going to show you how to write your first computer program. We're going to use Python because it's pretty straightforward and easy to learn, and all we need is a computer with a webcam. A laptop would do great. So we'll start off with the basics on scripting, and then I'll show you how to write a program that'll help you turn in your homework. Pretty interesting. Let's get started. All right. So the first thing we want to do is set up our system so that our computer that we have Python installed and everything correct. So the video before this is the setup and installation video. So go watch that if you haven't already. You're going to need Python, and you're going to need some other tools, OpenCV and libraries. It goes to all the details for that. This is assuming you've already seen that video and your computer's set up, ready to start scripting. So the first thing you want to do, we'll start really easy, and we'll just open up Notepad. And then we'll write our first script. We'll make it a hello world script because that's what everybody does. And we'll just print hello world. So first I like to do a little number sign here, and this means it's going to be a comment. So I can write anything I want. It's not part of the script. This is our first script. And you can even do another one. It will print hello world. Okay, then we want to import some libraries. In this case, we'll import sys. It's a native Python library. And when we'll print, you write print, you do a parentheses, and then you do quote anything that you want to be here. So this will be our hello world. See how to type here. And that's it. Now, if you wanted to print something that was a variable, we'll get into that later, and you won't use the quotes. But whenever you want to print something that's exactly what you're typing, just put it in quotes and you're good to go. So then we'll save this as a Python file. So we want it not as a text, so we want to say save as all files, and we'll call this script.py. Boom. All right, and what that's going to do is that's going to create a file here that has this blue and yellow Python logo. And then we want to open this as idle. So if I open it as edit, it's going to end up with the same text document that we already have. But if we open it as idle, you'll see something really neat here. Look at that. It's now color coordinated. And that makes life so much easier when you're writing your scripts and debugging your scripts. So you can see what's commented out is in red. The libraries we've imported is in orange. And then our functions, at least our print function, is in purple. And then the text that we're going to write is in green. So that works out really well. Also, if I forgot that end quote, you see the parenthesis would be in green. And it means it's going to keep printing everything, keep writing to the screen everything until the quote comes. So it's a good debugging tool. Now I can see the parenthesis is black, and therefore it's only going to print hello world. So let's try it out. So we'll save that again. And I like to run scripts in the command prompt. So I'll just change my directory to the desktop, and then we can just type Python anywhere, because in the previous video I showed you how to set up your path for your Python .exe program. And this way, when you set it up to your whole computer as your path, you can just write Python anywhere and then just be in the location of your Python files that you want to run. So in this case, we want to run a script file, and there we go. It says hello world. No problem. That was almost too easy. Let's do something a little bit more challenging. So let's close that down, and we can close this guy down. And now let's open up a script that'll use our webcam. That's a lot more interesting, right? So we'll take a photo. Okay, so we'll bring this down so we can see it. And here we have the first line commented out. This is take a photo with your webcam using Python. Then another comment here. We're going to import the libraries we need for this script. We're going to import a sys library and import a CV2 library. This was OpenCV, which is computer vision. We need that for our camera to work. And this was from the previous video. I explained how to install this software or library. Okay, then we're going to print. Here's something interesting. We're going to print our variables. So this line here, you could just take this verbatim, and what it's going to do is it's going to print OpenCV version, and then what's in brackets here isn't actually going to be printed, but what's in brackets will be a variable, and the variable will be your OpenCV2 dot underscore underscore space, no space, version underscore underscore. And what that is, it'll get your CV2 version and it'll print just that number. So it'll be like 3.4 point something. And then it'll continue typing the text because we're outside of the curly bracket, and it'll say must be version 3.4 dot something. And the same thing for our sys version. If we wanted to, except sys is native to Python, so you don't need the underscore underscore version, underscore underscore, just version works. And some of these you just have to learn as you go. If you were doing other libraries that you had to download, then you'd need the underscore underscore before and after version. Okay, so now we want to use our video capture device, which is in my case an integrated camera in my laptop. So I'm going to set a variable here, which means I'm going to save data or a string to this name here. So anytime we see the word cap for capture, it's going to save the data of our video capture device. So it doesn't have to be a string. In this case, it's going to be an image, but that's how you use a variable. It saves something so you can pull it up later on. And then we have a 0 here, and a 0 means it's going to be your first camera. In this case, it's my integrated camera. If I want to use a USB camera and plug that in, that would then be camera number 1, because everything always starts with 0 and then goes to 1 and then goes to 2, and on and on. So if I have 5 cameras all plugged in USB cameras, then I would have video captures 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I can call them up anytime I want to by their names. In this case, it would be capture, I'd probably give it a different name, like this would be capture 0 and this would be capture 1. I'm only using one video camera, so it's not that important right now. This is commented out because we're not using a USB camera. And this is commented out because that's just a note that just says an integrated camera. So really, this is the only line that's actually doing anything when the script starts running. Okay, then we're going to take this captured information and we're going to, right here, we're going to read that information and we're going to save it to a frame, another variable. So you'll see when I explain Python scripting, I kind of jump around a little bit so that it makes sense in English. But if you look at the code and get used to the code, it's kind of written in this funny way. It's usually the function equals, the variable equals a function or some kind of data. Okay, this RET is a Boolean. It means if it's true, it's going to work. If it's false, it's going to fail and give you an error. And what that means is if it actually has data from the capture device, it'll continue going. If your capture device is not working, then there's no data and this will fail, and then Python will exit out and it'll tell you that you have an error. So that's useful to know that we are actually capturing data. So this frame is going to equal our read captured data from our video capture device. And then this frame over here, we are going to use to do an image write. So this is a CV2 function, an OpenCV function, and it's going to save as a file name this onephoto-new.jpg any information that is in this frame. The frame was from reading, from the capture, from our video capture. So we're taking our camera and we're ultimately saving that picture. And that's it. It's a long way to save a picture, but this is how you would set it up. Then when you're done, you want to release your video camera device, which means just turn it off, we're done with it, and then destroy any windows. So if we happen to pop up some windows, this will close those windows down. So it's pretty straightforward, really just a few lines of code. Let's see how it works. I'll save this, and then we have this in a different directory. So we'll go change directory to face recognition, and then we'll say Python take photo. All right, so when I hit enter, it should give us our variables and it should take a picture. Let's see what happens. Got a smile for the camera. Okay, we got our variables, OpenCV version, then here's the version, and it says it must be this 3.4 something. It is, it's 3.4.10. Our Python version is 3.6.6. It must be 3. something. It is, so we're good. We got no errors. All the versions are compatible. So let's go and see. So we saved it as onephoto-new. Let's see what we got. Okay, there I am. I don't have very good lighting in here, I guess, because it's kind of dark, but that's okay. It worked. It took a picture. All right, so that's how you take a picture. Not too bad. Let's move on and learn something else. Let's learn how to take a video. When I say video, I mean display or show a video on your monitor of what your video, what your webcam is actually capturing. So it'll be like a real-time surveillance camera almost on your computer. Okay, so we'll say edit so we can get the colors here. And, oops, let's bring this down. For some reason it's not coming. There we go. And spread it out a little bit. Okay, here we go. So we have our title here. That's in red. Show a video with your webcam using Python. We're going to import our libraries just like we did before. We're going to check our versions just like we did before with our take video script. And now we're going to set a variable. We're going to call it vid instead of cap for capture. We're going to call it vid for video. It's just to show you that you can name your variables anything you want. You might as well make it descriptive. In this case, we're going to show a video, so I might as well call it video. Okay, now we go into this thing called a while loop. So what this means is as long as this while loop is true, it's going to keep doing everything that's indented here. So it's going to do this line, this line, this line, this line, and then nothing else is indented, so it's going to go back up and do this line again, this line again, this line again, and keep doing that until this is false. So an example is if I said x is greater than 10. So if x was 1, and we went through and it says, let's do less than 10. If x is 1, then it's less than 10. That's true. Let's keep going. Let's say later on we said x is equal, we're going to increment x. So now x is 2. Then it loops back through again and it says, oh, x is still less than 10. So we'll keep going. Now x is 3. That's still less than 10. As soon as x becomes 10, then it's not less than 10 anymore, and therefore it'll end the while loop and it'll come down to the non-indented script part. So we'll keep this as true because we just wanted to keep going forever. And another way to break your while loop is to say, if I hit a key, so it's called wait key, and if that key happens to be Q, so you just copy this line and make this letter whatever key you want it to be, Q for quit is what is standardly used, then if that happens, then break. If that doesn't happen, then just keep going through the while loop. But as soon as you get a break, because I've hit the Q key, it's going to leave the while loop and it's going to go down to our next non-indented line of code. Okay, so that's how a while loop works. Now let's see what's in this while loop. So the while loop is going to take our take our vid from our video capture, and we're going to read it and we're going to put it into the frame, a variable called frame. Just like we did with our camera, we got our RAT here, which is going to be our boolean. Is it true or is it false? If it's true, keep going. Then we're going to take that frame of read video from our video capture, video data, and then we're going to do an IM show, which means image show. So we're going to show that data. Before we save that data, or we did a write for that data, now we're going to do a show for that data. So it's just going to show up on the screen. We're not going to save it. We're going to call that frame just what we show on the screen. Okay, there we go. And then we have our command here for our wait key to hit Q to break it, and then we come down, and then we have our video release and our destroy all windows. Okay, so let's run this script and see what happens. So now this time, we're not just taking one picture, we're looking at a frame, and we're going to show it on the screen, another frame, show it on the screen, another frame, show it on the screen, and it's going to go and be a video stream. Okay, so here we go. It shows our versions, and there I am. So it's working perfectly fine. Everything looks good. It's nice and bright because the cameras actually start working better after they've been on for a few seconds. They get adjusted to the light, and even though I'm in a dark room, it's still nice and bright. So that's nice. Everything seems to be working fine. What I'll do here is I'll hit Q to quit, and there it goes, disappeared. Okay, so now we've learned how to print onto the command prompt. We've learned how to take a picture with our webcam, and we've learned how to make a streaming video with our webcam. We've done a lot in a little bit of time, in just a few lines of code. I think you guys are able to follow along and successfully create these scripts. So now we're going to take all of that and make a useful script, something that's actually productive, and we're going to call this countdown. So let's open up this script and let's see if you can guess what this script does. Let's open it up here so we can read it. We have our title here, and our title is, can you guess what this script does? First, we're going to import our libraries, and then we're going to check the versions of our libraries, just like before. And now we're going to get our video capture, and now we're going to say x equals 100. We talked about this last time, x equals 10. Let's see if we're using it in a similar way. We're going to create our while loop, and here it is. As long as x is greater than 1, then this will stay true, and it will go through this loop. And this loop is take your video capture, read it, save it as a frame. You guys know this. Save your frame and show it on the screen. That's our video, real-time streaming video. And then we're going to print X. Remember we did print hello world in quotes? If this was in quotes, X would turn green and we would actually see an X on the screen. But we're not putting in quotes. That means X is black, and that means it's a variable. And that means it's going to print, what is it going to print? 100. You're right. And why are we doing that? Because look at this next line. We're going to say X is equal to X minus 1. So X minus 1 equals 99. So now X equals 99. And then we're going to go through where it didn't hit Q, so it's going to loop back to the indented part again. Is 99 greater than 1? It sure is. Let's keep going. Let's get the next frame. Let's display it on the screen, and let's print it. So it prints 99, and then we're going to say X equals 99 minus 1. And now X equals 98. And we're going to go through, and we're going to keep going through until X equals 2. Is 2 greater than 1? It sure is. So then we're going to print 2, and then we're going to say X equals 2 minus 1. So now X equals 1. And then it's going to go up here, and it's going to say, is 1 greater than 1? No, it is not. 1 is 1. It's not greater than 1. So that will stop the while loop, and it'll leave the indented and go to the next frame. So the last printed X we should get is a 2. Okay. And then we're going to go through what we did with our take a photo script. We're going to take that video, we're going to read it, and we're going to save it as a frame. We're going to check it if it actually saved something. If it did, it's going to keep going. It's going to take that frame, it's going to write it as one photo-new.jpg. So it's going to save it as a picture, just like we did before, and then it's going to leave. Close everything out. Well, what is that app good for? Or what is this script good for? Well, actually we see our explanation here. Let's save it. Let's see what this script is good for. It's going to, well, let's just run it. Let's run it and see what we get. Python countdown. Okay, first it shows our versions. Then it pops up the video. That looks good. Let's move this out of the way here. Okay, and now you can see it's scrolling down from 100 all the way down to 2. And then it closes. But before it closed, it did something. It took a photo. Boom! Took a photo of me saying 2. And it's nice and bright because the camera was on for a little bit, so it got adjusted to the light. And so the program will, let's pull it up one more time. It's very simple, but it's useful because the program will scroll through your video or show your real-time video for about 100 seconds or however long it goes through to count up to 1, or count from 100 down to 1. It's actually a lot faster than a second, but and as soon as it's done, it'll take a picture. And how can we use this? Well, we can use this for turning in our homework. So the old way of turning in our homework was to let's take, I have a book here. This is a How It Works magazine. These are great. I love these. And let's say this was my homework. Let's say I wrote in here all of my homework, and then I had to turn it in to my teacher. So before, we would hold this up. Maybe we'd have a video going, maybe not. And then we'd have to hold it with one hand, and the other hand we'd have to hit enter, or we'd have to hit the take a photo button. And there we go. I took a photo. Now, who knows what it's really going to look like? Is it straight? Let's take a look. Oh, it's not very good. It only got 1.5 pages, so that's no good. I'm going to miss half of my work. It's a little bit crooked and bent and curvy and hard to read. And that's, unfortunately, I think that's how, some people have been turning in their homework because that's the best you can do. But with this script, let's see how we can use this. Now we'll use our countdown, and we will start it. And now we have enough time to get our homework right in the middle and steady. Boom. Count it down to 2. It took the picture. Let's see. There we go. Much better. I have an old webcam, so this is as clear as it's going to get. hopefully you have a newer webcam when you're turning in your homework. But everything's lined up. You can see both pages. It's nice and bright. It's in focus somewhat, as best as this 12-year-old laptop camera can do. And I think the teacher will be happy seeing that homework turned in. So now we've learned how to use, how to make a script, do some simple things, and use a script to do something productive. And that's really what I'm shooting for here, is I want you to not just learn how to type in script in Python, but how to use Python as a tool to be productive. I think it'll make your life a lot easier, and it'll be more enjoyable, and that'll hopefully get you motivated to learn more scripting. Okay, so all of the training, the lessons and tutorials that I'm going to show you going on the videos going forward are all based on the Makerville Hero episodes. So if you just do a Google search for Makerville Hero, then you'll see the chapters come up, and these are all created by the Animation Films 1212 YouTube channel. And in chapter 1, Mikey makes a computer program, and that computer program is a facial recognition program, and it uses the same fundamental scripts that we just used, except one more thing: it looks at each frame and sees if there's a face in there, and then when it sees a face, it prints out who it found. So if you felt confident in doing these last few scripts and you want to try something new, watch this video, and then go to watch the Makerville Hero Chapter 1 computer program video, and then go back and watch the next video from the Mikey's Makerville projects, where I show you how to do the facial recognition or face recognition program for yourself on your computer, and it will work, and it's not that difficult. I also have a GitHub site where I'll show you can just download it, so you don't have to type it off if you don't want to. It's always encouraged to, but if you just want to try something out, you can download it and have fun. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something new, and I hope I'll see you again on the next video. Bye.